If you're in the habit of using food to numb yourself, to avoid painful and distressing emotions, that you want to listen to what I have to share today. Because with this understanding and changing your perspective on it, it can enable you to totally overcome emotional eating. It's Maria here today, and I am sharing something that is so vital. So many women do turn to emotional eating to numb themselves from painful emotions, from distressing emotions. Somewhere along the line, you cultivated a habit, a belief that the emotions were too difficult to feel, and it felt safer to turn to food to anesthetize yourself from those emotions. And it's very likely that there were times in your life that that was true, that maybe you were going through some deep emotional pain, or the circumstances of your life were so distressing and disturbing that turning to a coping mechanism, turning to food to self-medicate, was the best thing that you knew how to do to help yourself in the moment. However, as you continue this pattern, it also becomes very destructive. And you probably know that too if you've in this pattern, because when we continue to use food to numb ourselves, we stop feeling. First of all, we will stop feeling the distressing emotions, but we'll also stop feeling other emotions like joy and happiness and peace, because we are numbing ourselves to life. And then the other thing is, of course, if you are turning to food to numb yourself and self-medicate, it creates this vicious cycle of feeling frustrated with yourself and upset with yourself, and an inability to stick to your health and fitness goals. And so you may gain weight or create all kinds of health problems as well. So you have to take a different approach. First of all, if you are turning to food because of emotional pain, either in the present or maybe something from the past is getting triggered, you have to stop beating yourself up about it. Turning to food seemed like, in one point in your life, the best alternative. And maybe it's no longer the best alternative for you, but it's become a default that had helped you at one point in your life. So beating yourself up, calling yourself names, getting angry and frustrated with yourself is only going to create more pain and discomfort. The opportunity is to start to get curious about it and have a little compassion for yourself. That the reason that you're turning to food is because you're in pain in the first place. So stop inflicting more pain on yourself. How do you inflict more pain on yourself? By going on destructive or very restrictive diets, by calling yourself names, by being angry and frustrated with yourself. So I understand the anger and the frustration when you're caught in that cycle. But again, going back to the fact that you're doing the best thing that you know how to do to self-regulate. So it starts with having more compassion for yourself and getting curious, because if there are deeper pains that need to be addressed, inflicting more pain, more negative self-talk on yourself is only going to create more pain. So the first step is to get curious about it. The next step is to start to cultivate the belief that you can handle your emotions, even the painful and distressing ones. So you want to start to create a safe space for yourself with the belief that you can handle your emotions. However, if you've been traumatized or you have some very deep-seated emotions, it's very, very important to get some outside help with this. I remember many, many years ago, because I learned to turn to food to stuff my emotions at a very young age. And I remember wanting to change this pattern. I would somehow wake up in the middle of the night and feel all these emotions. And a lot of times I even turned to food to numb myself in the middle of the night. I would stuff down the feelings and the emotions. So I had to start to get outside help to start to cultivate the feeling that I could feel my emotions. And at that point, I had to start to release some deep-rooted trauma that was lodged in my energy system, that was lodged, and using the food to numb myself was the only way that I knew how to self-regulate. Once I release the trauma, and I've seen this time and time again with my clients, once we release the deeper trauma, the need to self-medicate goes away. Because the only reason you're self-medicating and numbing yourself is because you're in pain. So again, you have to stop beating yourself up about this. You have to stop the restrictive dieting and all of the ways that you are disrespecting yourself. Have more compassion for yourself and some curiosity, and start to affirm that you can create a space in yourself to feel your feelings, that you can feel the painful emotions and distressing feelings. And as you start to do that, you will start to be more curious and get to the deeper drivers. If you've experienced trauma or a tremendous amount of distressing pain, it's really essential to get some outside help, to have somebody help you to address the trauma. You don't have to live with that trauma your whole life, but there are very easy ways to start to release the pain, to let go of it, because really our emotions are just energy, and energy does want to flow. But if we've experienced difficult emotions based on difficult experiences in our life, it is really helpful to get help from an outside source. So getting to the core issue again is what's essential to let go of emotional eating, to stop using food to numb yourself. And the core issue is usually, actually always, addressing the deeper pains. And sometimes that is connected to deeper traumas that you've had. So I hope this is helpful. I want you to start today to get curious about what are the feelings, emotions, experiences that you're running away from, rather than beat yourself up, but get curious about it. Start to hold a safe space for yourself where you can start to feel your emotions. Start to affirm that you can handle your emotions, that you can feel your feelings. And if you are in a lot of distress and emotional pain, give yourself the gift of getting outside help to address that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you have any more questions, if you want me to elaborate on anything that I spoke about, I'm happy to do that. I have worked with so many women, helping them to get to the core of the pain, so that once you heal that deeper wounding, the need to self-medicate goes away. The need to self-medicate does not go away by beating yourself up or going on a restrictive diet. It goes away by getting to the core issues that created the problem in the first place. If you have any questions for me, leave it in the thread. If you have any questions that you'd want to just speak to me personally about, you can always private message me. I'd be happy to elaborate and talk more about this. I hope you take good care of yourself, and I look forward to the next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye now.